Here we are, and as you can see, there is another surprise, which is Esteban on Orcust out of all decks.
But it is one of those decks that you really want to consider if you want to break in the event, because Orcust right now, it has getting very good support in the latest sets, and I truly believe that it is one of the decks that, if you're not prepared, can totally get you off guard. However, K9 is one of those decks that, with Vanquish, obviously has a lot of potential. As Alberto already said, it was his pick for the tournament, and also K9 are very strong against Orcust.
And what an opener it is. Esteban goes for the impulse, but I mean, this is hardly enough to stop Matteo. We didn't use the Jokul. We revealed also that we have the Medlov as a really good normal summon, and this is such a good opener. You see Matteo is playing around Roll and Lock, but eventually now he's gonna use the Jokul, and yeah, this is honestly a crazy opening.
And Matteo right now, I think he has 2 level 5s on the field, and without even committing into a normal summon, so even Impulse that was activated into the Holy Shoe, I don't think that it is enough to stop his turn. So I think that he's going to advance even more, and it is one of those scenarios now with the Noroi that you can actually commit to activate the second effect to even look into Esteban's hand in order to find, information, which is very important when you are playing a Vanquish Soul deck, and give him the edge.
I mean, I feel like with such a deck you have so many different options, and K9 is super explosive, and I think paired up with Vanquish, I feel this deck has a lot of potential, especially because not only there's Dracotail, but also against Yummy, I think Mitsurugi as well, and here, as you mentioned, Mike, you get to see your opponent's head, which is
but big. Such unfortunate draws, because both the Babel and the World Legacy you don't want to draw into, because you can easily access, and so really the only threats right now are that Trust and Ash Blossom, and I'm sure Matteo will do his best, as you can see here with this Ripper, to pretty much isolate himself from this Ash.
And I mean, right now Esteban doesn't have a play, actually, because Crown needs to be special summoned to a pointer of a Link monster. So I believe that Matteo can establish a field that's being protected from any interaction with the Thrust.
Yeah, so you don't really need to do anything. I guess even the X-Force released is enough, no? Because they have the one play and then you use it without activating a monster, and it's really rough. So I mean, this is just amazing. We know the K9 cards are great still. They were maybe underrepresented a bit, but with the newest Forbidden Unlimited list, they are back. A lot of different strategies this weekend, and I mean, Noroi is just an amazing card by his own.
I mean, the only real threat right now is top decking a Harp Horror maybe to normal summon, and then your opponent may but you already have the bubble, so I don't think that it is a potential threat.
No, not so much.
The thing is that with such a hand, it's so unfortunate to draw both of them. It's
and here we see the Nash Knight, and I guess we still have more, because I mean we have we had the first release, I believe. So
we added it.
We know, and then we have the Medlov, which we cannot use, and we also have Ash, by the way, because he revealed the Ash as a fire. So
then we deal with Thrust.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy from Matteo, and I mean, I really don't see how Esteban can get out of it. He will need a miracle off the top. Let's take a look at this one, and it could be a real quick game one for the former European champion. Another spell, okay.
Also from the body language is not really...
I think it could be the... Is he on...
On return?
No, the discard and draw 2.
Return.
Yeah. Because then it's even... another.
I think he can decide the World Legacy card.
Or yeah, but you know about the Ash, you know about everything.
But then you have Trust.
Yeah, it's rough.
I think that we are committing too early into the Thrust. I mean, yes, we have the Ash Blossom in our hand in order to feel safe.
What do you think just happened? Just a pass?
No, I think there was the Ash Blossom activated and then the Reaper.
No, but you cannot. What I mean is, for sure we use the Olisu, but we already used the Olisu. So I think what happened is Esteban entered the end phase, and then Matteo was like, no, wait, before end of main I will use Olisu. And then he ashed.
Would you consider?
So it was a bit of a bait.
Would you consider just scooping game 1 without showing into the effect of Noroi your hand? Because now a potential Lancia that it is potential side deck options maybe come.
I guess so.
I mean, with Impulse, you say to your opponent that you're probably playing Malice.
Yeah, exactly.
You
might get them to side some stuff. The worst part about it, if they side the Lancia, it's actually good against Orcust. So, you know.
Yeah, there was a debate behind Orcust because most of the time it is also with Mitsurugi. The discussion that it not maybe such a good pick for this tournament because Lancia has seen a lot of spotlights lately due to the Malice that has been brought back into the meta, and I think it is quite odd that you also been so behind if your opponent has Lancia.
Okay, I drew Foolish Burial for turn.
I mean, it's a start.
Tough spot, honestly. Yeah, quite tough.
And there are only 2 cards in hand, which is Crown and Babel, right?
Yeah.
We can draw, revealing the Mad Love, and I mean,
should be about it, honestly.
What can you even do?
Yeah.
You can steal this with the Nash Knight.
You don't care about stealing right here.
No.
Because both targets are in hand.
Yeah.
Babel doesn't. No, how it's called, the link one, the Galatea doesn't scare. Yeah.
Yeah, Matteo just having a read at every card. He knows this is pretty much a win, so you really don't wanna, disregard the potential effect. We have seen that with the Gem Knight deck before.
And also that he probably knows that they're going for game 2 and Esteban may go first. You need to have read all the effects in order for you to know how to interact and what side deck options would you consider.
But yeah, we do go for Nash Knight, and yeah, we know everything else pretty much. So we're gonna use that Babel.
And I mean, Nightmare right now has the good part in its effect that you doesn't require to target one of your own monsters, but can also target opponent's monster as well, in order to send to the graveyard one Orcust or Dark Machine actually, right? Monster, because you can also send Gizmek.
So yeah.
Yeah. Obviously won't.
Yeah.
And one will probably bring back from the banishment the horror.
Because we still have to normal summon.
I think that you need to summon Crown into a pointer, a link pointer of your monster. I don't think that it can be summoned straight away, right? Yeah.
No, but he's using the other effect, which is the secret effect of Ward 1, which is you can special summon a World Legacy from your end when it's sent to the graveyard. So that's what
I never knew about that.
Yeah. It's really not used at all, but it does come up, I guess. Yep. And yeah, this is pretty much the last thing he could do, as he has a normal summon. He goes for normal summon ARP, but ARP has already been activated.
I mean, you can access Typhon right now. Yeah, and just generate one more turn, and then you have Babel with Harp Horror in the graveyard.
I mean, good effort here from Esteban, you know.
But Matteo has four cards in hand, and one that he's going to draw with his turn, one with Borger. So I believe with 6 cards in his hand,
too much, honestly.
Seems too much. At least I think right now Borger cannot activate the effect. Has 3000, right? It's something.
Yep. But during your own turn it gets even scarier, because the banishment is not going to be from the end but from field and grave, and that's, if you get it online again, it can be extremely disruptive against Orcust.
I mean, in this case we just summon Holy Shoe, activate the effect to take control of the Typhon, and I think it's already game.
Oh, but no, we are going, for Holy Shoe effect. Esteban knows what's going on, and just picks up a game that looked unwinnable from the very opening of Jokul plus Olisu with the right attributes. I mean, we've mentioned it, the deck might have, lost a couple raids and couple Stake Your Souls from when it won the European Championship, but in terms of power, it still has everything.
Yeah, I mean, it has taken so much support lately, and I truly believe that it's a very good option to cut people off guard at least. I don't know if it is considered the best deck in the room, but definitely it is one of those that you really need to be prepared for and at least know some basic interaction, because if you let Orcust starting comboing and getting into link climbing and obviously getting to the link 4, which is the main reason to play the deck right now, it's going to be very scary.
I mean, I really feel like also that, I've always been a fan of Orcust. I also remember there was Lille, there was Giovanni Barone World Championship competitor showing off on stream how the deck works. I still feel like, though, that Esteban is not super prepared against Vanquish, because also looking at the side deck, there's not really many options. I think it really wants to play more on the key factor of him having the deck to be beaten, especially in this tournament, because we talked about how different our field is, especially with different decks, and this is one of these other decks, among the top tables that essentially is just winning match after match, and it was quite unfortunate for him, especially to start things off in game 1 with such a hand, because sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
But hopefully he can redeem himself, especially because it's a very experienced player. Whereas on the other side, Matteo didn't really see much of Esteban's deck. I mean, it was, you could also tell that he was reading some of them, so maybe he's not super familiar with the deck, which makes me think maybe he was just, hoping that something like this may happen again, so he doesn't need to read any other cards. But
although it's also limited, there is one card that he could draw that would make things much easier for him, and that is Dimension Shifter, which, to be fair, I'm shocked to see it's only in the side deck for him. It seems like it would be a no-brainer to just main it, I think, for this event, given how many Dracotales we were expecting, but I mean, we'll see.
It is the big debate, because against Mitsurugi it's an okay card, and obviously there's still Malice in the meta scene right now.
Sure.
So there was the debate about playing Shifter in the main deck or on the side deck, but I believe this is all the mind games that Alberto and Zhang talked about in the meta discussion, is that right now the meta is very, very wide, and for me at least, the winner of this YCS, it is the one that you can see 2 to 3 steps ahead of the rest of the community.
yeah.
And let's see if it's going to be one of these two advancing with an undefeated records. Our duelists are ready, so let's go to game 2. the Orcust deck has a lot of one-card combos, so not to jinx it, but most likely we're gonna see some. Oh my! Oh.
No, we have a play.
Okay. The first three were end traps. I didn't see the other two. I saw it spells.
It is Sarcophagus.
Ah, okay.
I mean, it's not the one that you want to draw, but at least it's a play.
Let's see. Because yeah, pretty much as long as you normal summon one of your Orcust, you can get into some decent lines. What is the last card? Too shiny. Yeah.
Maybe return?
Could be.
Passed. Wow.
No, Mike, it's a pass. I told you. Oh my god, I jinxed it.
No, it is a Sarcophagus, but at this point, you need to discard your...
but King Sarcophagus, you mean? Yeah,
King Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
The one that inserted the searches. However, with those hand traps, because we saw Droll, Ass and Impulse, it is not quite the ideal to discard hand traps in order to go for a potential play that can be interrupted by any hand trap into the game right now.
At least the good news is Droll is extremely good against this opener of a case, and especially when we get the Jokul instead of Noroi, which I'm a bit surprised about. And yeah, here comes Drone and Lock Bird.
And another relevant thing is that we have a case on the field, so we can activate Impulse into Jokul, which I think it may be a potential play right here.
Let's see what we reveal first. It seems like we have a couple options. Okay. Jiaolong is the card revealed. I mean...
I think you're quite obliged to do it, honestly.
Yeah. And here comes Dominus Impulse. I don't know if really that was better than Noroi, or do we already have the Noroi? That's the big question from Matteo. Okay, no, we are just gonna normal summon the Jokul, but we cannot add. So alone it doesn't really do much, and wow, we have Rubius Ardron. One of the few instances where you're not that mad about drawing it.
And just to clear things up, K9 monsters can be normal summoned without a tribute if our opponent has 2 or more cards in the hand.
Yeah, but I think here we just push damage, no? So we just attack, deal a bit of damage, and then, I mean... I guess it could be
either Arc or either NXCs. It can definitely be.
I mean, Nash Knight is good. Even Reaper is not that bad, I guess. Reaper. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Even though you cannot add the effect to negating Grave, is really good. But I think maybe Nash Knight is just safer. I'm not sure.
Even when our opponent has already shown us that he doesn't have a play.
Exactly. So. Let's take a look what it will be. And you can see Matteo is also debating about it. It's a big decision, honestly. It can really change a lot. And
it is whether you want to interact with the field or the graveyard.
And it's neither of the two. It's the Valon. Interesting. Probably thinks that if he has to take control of it, it's safer to put the monster face down, because then it's not going to the graveyard most likely. But interesting call, and yeah, we knew about this King Sarcophagus. I mean, we cannot wait any longer, and yes, it was indeed that one-off copy of the return. Oh, but
there's
we see an Ash, okay, but I mean, we have 2 more cards, no?
Yeah, we have 2 more. And King Sarcophagus can be activated up to 4 times per turn.
So we can still access.
Yeah, but
Valon.
We need to discard our whole hand, and we still have the effect of Valon to set.
So unless we have an Orcust with top decked that can be activated in grave, it's rough. And yeah, you can see here Esteban is not so happy about it, because probably in his mind he was like, okay, he cannot put face down free. But now he only has 2 cards.
You believe that he plays a third copy?
No, probably not. To be fair, probably not. But I mean, maybe your opponent misplays. He puts, you never know. It's a rough one, because I think he has Ash. Yeah, Ash was there. And the card drawn for turn is the only one we don't know.
And I mean, at this point, you summon him Seti, Battle Phase in order to bait Valon, and you hope that you have something in hand.
Yeah.
It will be...
It's not a great bait, let me tell you that, yeah. Because you don't deal with the field. You gave them Lupis. Yeah.
No, you don't give them Lupis.
No, I mean back in the grave, possibly.
Ah, yeah, but
Yeah,
the
just
effect
in
cannot
case.
be activated.
Yeah. And no, we decide to keep it just as a protection. Last card in hand, it's Talk. Oh, it's a face down from Esteban. So unfortunate, honestly. Both games really not getting into this Orcust cards.
And the relevant thing about Valon right now is that if we find a way to link summon him, we can just force the back, the
even
trap.
Tribute, no?
Even Tribute, yeah.
You actually Tribute summon it for Joy Long, for example. It's a funny way to do things, and it works. So let's see if he goes for it. Okay, for now we're just turning it to attack. Is that really it? No.
Yeah, but we need to reach King Sarcophagus, maybe?
Wait. Because I also...
Oh, goes for Zeus. Okay.
Yeah. I also thought...
yeah,
because
there was a hidden effect.
There is the hidden effect. My baby... It doesn't work for Lupis? Let me check.
No way, it doesn't target.
No, but it's also the protection, no? Yeah, no, it's just targeting. What can you say? Because, yeah, Sarcophagus has a secret effect, we could say, which is that once your Horus monster battles an opponent monster, you can send that monster to the graveyard.
And right now, I think that Matteo, it is within an open field, an empty hand, and he has anything that he needs in order to advance his plays and combo off. And literally just establish one interaction. He doesn't want anything more.
And you can see Esteban being a bit flustered right now. Oh, was there a change of mind? Seems like he put Razen and then realized that, he couldn't use it because he already summoned. I mean, I guess a bit of sportsmanship maybe, but yeah. This way he's gonna be allowed to take back things. I've played so much Genesis that I forgot we have Rock of the Vanquisher because the links are not in there. And now I'm more used to seeing Vanquish all in that other format. But
and to be honest, when we played on the stream for Genesis, you didn't need
not quite
the rock.
And again, bit of a poor.
And Skeleton, it is one of those monsters that you really don't want to see. Yeah, because it doesn't advance endgame play, and also Galatea does right now.
You don't have to discard.
You don't have a discard in order to access Crown.
Yeah,
because obviously Babel right now.
And as you can see, unfortunately, Esteban has seen enough, doesn't attempt to go for it. I mean, what can you say? Obviously, congratulations to his opponent, but you know, former European champion. This just explains how, you know, at the end of the day, you can have your unfortunate draws sometimes, and what can you do? You can try your best with what cards you have, but if the quality is just that different, there is not that much that you can do. I don't know, maybe the only consideration that we can make is if he was believing a bit more in his opener, maybe using that King Sarcophagus right away and hoping to go either into, you know, the Vampire or just trying to play. But of course, I don't blame him. If your opponent has any interruptions, you are completely exposed. We knew that was not the case, but I mean, I don't blame Esteban. You had Droll, Impulse, Ash, so your opponent is not really doing too much, most likely, and that was the case. But I mean, if then you draw another poor card, what can you do?
I mean, I think it was the correct play because, as you said, an interruption, and obviously Izuna was there also in the deck. That it is a big threat for you when you play Orcust. You cannot commit so much, and as we saw, it was just a Vallon pass. So I think with a single Orcust, for example, Horror or Nightmare, it could definitely advance his play and be crowned the winner of game 2. Or it was not the case.
Yeah, no.
Although this was a really good match, the good news is that it only lasted, about 20-25 minutes. So we still have an amazing backup future match with quite the spicy deck. So why don't we just jump into that? There it is. RB Mecha Phantom Beast is in the building, facing off quite the field though from Matteo, but we see that Manuel actually won game 1. So if as the situation is looking, Matteo is gonna take this one. We could see some RB action in the next game.
I mean, right now Matteo has only 2 spots left that he needs to cover in order to have every spot of his field taken.
Yeah, he just activated a Funk Dock, but as we can see, I think it's all done. Jumped right into it at the right moment. We saw an amazing field from Matteo, 4 monsters, 4 face down cards.
5 monsters.
Yeah, Manuel just calls it a day.
And I mean, you had 5 monsters, 4 spelling traps, and the field spell. I mean, it was 10 cards. How you can even face such a field? Only with cards like Evenly potentially.
I would be curious to see how game 1 went, because, for example, when I think the trend today is facing decks you may not super familiar with, and I think Mecha Phantom Beast is for sure not one of them. I think we've never seen this deck in action, and honestly, it's great to see, also some variety and how our players essentially are approaching these YCSs, especially because, as mentioned during the past weeks, thanks to the French Open and the YCS Pittsburgh, we had a lot of different decks, but Dragotail, Mitsurugi and Yami were, of course, the most popular ones. And on the other hand, of course, like here on stream, I think it's still great to, showcase for you at home how these decks perform, especially against, a deck such as Yami. So entering into this game 3, honestly, I have no idea what could happen, because we have seen anything, honestly, on stream so far.
I mean, RB is definitely an interesting and more recent deck that found its way with these quite old, I gotta say, Mega Phantom Beast cards, but the synergy is there. And although this is a deck that can go second and even just close the duel out in one go, it has the ability to go first. It's playing cards like Solemns, and also it can play without a graveyard, kinda. So they play Shifter, Dimensional Fissure. Maybe it's not really going to be the case in this matchup, but we saw some Yami cards, so it's always a decision of, when it's Yami Mitsurugi, maybe it's alright, because you still cut off a lot of the power from the beasts. So it will be interesting to see if we see those banishing cards come into play.
I mean, you definitely choose to side them in and play with them, because Yami, if we take the 20s apart, Yami really strikes against the Dimensional Fissure and Shifter, of course. And Mitsurugi, yes, it can activate the effect, but they lose a lot of resources. So if you manage to play through the field and actually manage to, play the establishment that they have gone through, you can actually generate the advantage in order for you to play through this field and they don't have more follow-up.
But what if I told you that just took a peek at the side deck and he actually had an out last game? What if I tell you that? From that field of 4 monsters, Herald and 4 backers.
5 monsters for what?
I don't know if Mike was playing, but
I don't maybe no. But there is playing 3 copies of a certain Thunder monsters, I can tell you that. Denko Sekka.
Oh.
He could have basically shut down everything, attack over the Herald. That would have been so hyped. Unfortunately, we didn't see it, but there is still a game we can witness. So let's go to game 3.
Were you playing when the card was released? I don't think so. I think it was, 2017?
No, 2015.
15?
For, already Necrots.
I played only once because I liked the card, but obviously I didn't know how to play well the game. So
it's been 10 years already.
Yeah. Actually, even slightly before. I think 2014, end of 2014, because I remember in Shadows it was also played a bit. So I think it came out at the end of 2014, start of then 2015. Because I think YCS Milan it was there. But anyways, good old days. We do go first, and we open arguably one of the best cards in the deck, which is the field spell RB Funk Dock. This allows us to add any RB card, and the choice has been, I think, Stage Landing. But yeah, this card is absolutely crazy because it allows you to special summon RB monsters from your deck or extra deck with a different name from what you control. So if you don't control any, you can special summon any of your cards, and it's really, really, really good.
And I really love the fact that for now, at least Manuel goes uninterrupted, because I really want to see how RB can potentially be part of the meta and actually address the current meta state and be in the YCS.
Well, so far, normal charms from Matteo, and he has all of them in his deck. Between side deck and there's no interruption.
Let's take a look at this. So, wow, we do have a couple of bricks, let's say. You definitely don't want to open Murakumo, it's alright, but definitely don't want to open the Minion. But, I mean, Droplet and Talent is solid, so let's see.
And Prayers with Murakumo.
Yeah.
It has a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
And right now we see Manuel that the fact that you can look at your opponent's hand, it is very, very important. Cards like Noroi and right now RBS, which has experience, it gives so much advantage, because not only gives you the protection from potential threats like Nibiru, Iperma, or any other hand trap that may be used later, but also gives you the knowledge in how to interact with your opponent, which is one of the most important skills in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. And here we see this Vulcan booster. Advancing plays further.
And do you believe that Matteo feels quite confident in Game 3 against RB?
No.
In the YCS?
For sure no. For sure no. And even less maybe on stream. And here we see the Shepherd's Crook.
I mean, on one hand, it's
allows us to set any trap card if we play, and then during our opponent's turn, it special summons a bunch of RBs back. And yeah, here we do access the last stand. Again, we take a look at this hand. I mean, yeah.
It's solid. I mean, it's a good hand from Matteo, honestly. There's no interruptions, but he has Droplet plus Talent.
It's lacking Yummies, but sure. I mean, any Yummy from the top would make it absolutely premium. And yeah, that card is set. And
3 cards are set.
Wow. And I saw a Solemn out there, warning, I believe, which is huge here because it allows you to play around, you know, Droplet, Talent, and so on.
And also praise discard Murakumo that you negate the whole effect.
So on the field right now we just have also the Driller,
which is great because essentially by paying 500 you can target one monster your opponent controls and discard to destroy them both with, you know, it's another interaction, which is pretty cool.
But this is a huge top deck from Matteo. Obviously you don't want to draw into those entraps that you did not have before, and this is what we knew, most likely gonna tributing the Murakumo. No, okay, just to add.
I guess was the 6th card was, of course, Humble Charming.
Yeah. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, and there's the Solemn Warning.
I mean, you can activate, if it was a Fual, for example, in order to just get one draw from last stand. Just in any case, or worst case scenario to force to chain last stand.
Yeah.
This whole morning hurts, honestly.
But this is rough. We don't have anything.
This hurts a lot, and I think Matteo was not even expecting it because it's just shuts down everything pretty much.
Yeah, because right now we have Talent, Murakumo.
No, it's completely gone pretty much.
What is it? Talent, Murakumo,
Droplet,
Fuvalos, and
Mignon. Yeah. Very unfortunate end here from Matteo, and it seems like it might be RB taking it. So it's just gonna be a face down.
I mean, I find odd way Murakumo was not discarded, to be honest.
I agree. I don't know what was.
Maybe because you wanted the press to resolve, so you wanted to bait out your opponent because it was your only play. But still, I think that having an additional ad would be very important in this scenario.
Yeah. And now we are back in the driving seat. We access another of our RB in the rocket.
And I mean, right now we have the droplet, as we can imagine.
But Manuel knows. That's also, you know, a big deal. And yeah, I mean, Manuel rightfully so doesn't activate his link in the previous turn, even though he could bring a lot back, because then Talent would be alive. And now he's back in his own turn. He knows he's only facing a droplet.
And already forcing it, I think. So he's in a very good spot. And the cards in hand are Talent, Murakumo, Mignon, and one potential threat.
Well, yeah, here he activates the droplet, but I mean, we already knew about this. Nothing more that Matteo can do about it, honestly. It's, I mean, on one hand, it's good that we kind of see the RB Mega Phantom Beast deck in action without any interruption. On the other, we can't. You really have to feel bad for Matteo, honestly. It's just left with 3 cards in hand here and just a few hopes remaining.
And I think right now there's only one unknown card from Manuel, and he has all the engine of his deck into his arsenal. And
there
the Fugalos, yes. And at this point, I think that it was a bigger threat, the card that you didn't know, rather than knowing that your opponent has a Fugalos, because you can even just pass back.
Kinda, yeah. Oh, but I think we are responding right away with the second trap card, which is the RB next phase, which is a counter trap that allows you to negate a monster effect. That's big.
Yeah, I think there's no recovery from that.
Yeah, absolutely not. It was a bit of a surprise that we set the last stand, and I was indeed, because we are through the last, the next phase. And this makes a lot of sense, but now we are free to continue.
But you believe that Matteo was familiar with RB spell and traps?
I mean, maybe in game 1, which we didn't
that's
see.
That's what
I would assume
about.
so, since he lost it. So
yeah, meaning that he probably searched through Neuron the RB traps, and you can understand that when your opponent sets the last stand, potentially he has the next phase as a potential threat. And right now we can see that Manuel can combo off and probably go for the win in this turn, but he can also afford just gaining one more turn, since Matteo doesn't have a real playable card in his hand and, generally speaking, arsenal right now. And in any case, I think Manuel, it is in a very good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like that in this situation, having the counter trap on the Fuvalos puts you so far ahead in the game. And I mean, I really feel like that this deck, besides being consistent, it's super unexpected.
yeah, it's refreshing to see for sure. And
we didn't see any Mega Phantom Beast cards yet, because this is just the RB package essentially. So
pretty much a one-card combo with the field spell, what we witnessed. Maybe not, you know, as explosive as other archetypes, but it does the job. And as we've mentioned, we have a lot of interruptions available to us with the driller. But in this case, we are just trying to push more damage, I think. Now going back to our extra deck to bring the Brute Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, link free. And it's big because it gains attack equal to basically the RB it points to. And that's... yeah, it stacks up real quick. So I think it's already over 4,000, and that is it indeed. It is Manuel with RB taking the match of all things. Wow. I mean, we were blessed by back-to-back future matches in this round 6. For anyone who might have missed it, in the main future match, we saw a clash between you know, Esteban Re with this Orcust deck, eventually losing out to his opponent Vanquish Soul K9, and now in the backup RB X1.
I mean, both matches had one underdog and one of those meta decks that we can call them. And as we saw, currently it was 1-1, right?
Yeah,
because Orcust, it has a very, very difficult matchup against K9 Vanquish, but RB showcased why it needs to be out there.
No, I mean, it was very interesting, especially because advancing an X1 record, it's, you know, quite a big thing. You know, still 3 more rounds remaining for the day. So congratulations to Manuel. But in the meantime, let's hear it from Seb for the main future match analysis.
Thank you so much. Yes, we had a very exciting backup featured match there indeed, but I will go back to our main featured match where we saw Esteban with the Orcust deck competing against Matteo with his Vanquish Soul deck. And I would say, let's get into the first clip that I've selected here. And that sees the opener of Matteo there in the first game. And it was quite the opener, to be honest, because we saw him having full access to all of his K9 cards. Even the Dominance Impulse on that Vanquish Soul Holisu was not able to really stop him too much, and eventually he was just getting more and more resources out, and I think that is going to be a main factor here in the tournament today and throughout the entire weekend. The K9 cards are back, ladies and gentlemen. In Lille, 0 K9 cards in all of top 8, but now completely different tournament. YCS Bologna, the players are really trying to find a different take on the format, and I think, and I walked through the top tables and saw the players there, Vanquish Soul K9 all of a sudden out of nowhere again, just after having a completely different format with this deck seeing very, very little play, is just absolutely there. We see the Vanquish Soul K9 variants. We see also Crystron K9 with a decent bit of representation as well. And even all of the other decks, just for Izuna, for example, and the Lupus, which is a small package. So many decks just trying to include that little bit extra K9 cards are once again in the center stage, and I would not be surprised if we see multiple decks in this tournament in the top 8. I mean, after this opener here, we don't even need to watch much more from the first game, because it was all after looking into the hand with the Noroi, going into the direction of Matteo altogether completely. Here, we are considering whether we want to deal with our opponent's monster. The Nash Knight, of course, there, and Nash Knight is able to take an opponent's monster. So that was our main piece of interruption here, which we decided to use on the Girsu here, which I thought was sort of interesting, because the Girsu was not really a problem at that particular moment, because usually against Orcust, it's smart to clear their one monster, because when you clear their one monster, being an Orcust monster, of course, it means that they cannot go into their Galatea Eye. Here, though, in that very particular case, as we see, the Orchestrated Babel was already in hand, and the other target, the World Crown, additionally to that, also was already in the hand, meaning that that Link 1, that usually is pretty scary, would have not done particularly much here, and therefore I was rather surprised when we used the Nash Knight on this here. And here we do have now the World Wand to the graveyard, and that actually was somewhat of a surprise. We see here, we're reading it on Matteo's end, because Marcello called it a secret effect. I also almost didn't remember it, but when you send the World 1 to the graveyard, you can actually summon the World Crown from the hand, which we ended up doing. We were able to go into a Typhon, but when you see all of those cards on the side of Matteo, with additional 4 cards, I believe, also in the hand, it was clear quite quickly that that first game would be going to Matteo, bringing us to the second game, which I will bring up here right there. And the second game saw Esteban on the first turn just sending a card and passing afterwards. It wasn't the start he was hoping for to turn it around. And then we got to a game state where it was the turn of Esteban again, turn 3. We got to activate our King Sarcophagus. And the interesting decision from Matteo was he did decide to use the Ash Blossom. We can still see it there underneath the Jockle in the graveyard. We used Ash Blossom on King Sarcophagus while our opponent still had 2 more cards remaining in hand. So technically, he could have still just kept on discarding cards to activate the effect of King Sarcophagus further. So I was somewhat surprised to see that happening, because we could have just, with the Valen on the field, waited to see what is coming out there from the King Sarcophagus. But we wanted to deny it immediately. Esteban kept on going, discarded another card, invested another card from the hand to then eventually, of course, get to that now set Imseti, which then was set by the Valen, of course. So the combination of Valen and the Ash Blossom in the end was enough to stop the turn of Esteban once again. And after that, I only have one more highlight to present to you, because this was the finishing touches then of the match as Matteo tribute summons the Jalong over the Zeus, which cleared the remaining. It was very little cards on the side of Esteban, that they were cleared by the Zeus after attacking over the Sedum Seti. One thing that's very important here, we were wondering, or some people may have been wondering, why the King Sarcophagus effect was not used when the Sedum Seti was attacked. Easy explanation for that. The effect of King Sarcophagus, which you can see here so big on the screen, the King Sarcophagus only can be used at the beginning of the damage step. When the monster is set, and the Imseti there was still set by the Valen, it's too late to use the effect of King Sarcophagus when it's being attacked. Therefore, we could not use King Sarcophagus. The Zeus could go through. Zeus cleared up the entire field. And I mean, we now have the Jalong, we have the Vanquish Soul start, and that's really all it needs. Big, big combo afterwards. All we need is to secure this swift and clean 2-0 victory in favor of Matteo. So Matteo now with a 6-0 record, and I can tell you, he's not the only Vanquish Soul duelist out there doing well with the deck. The deck is making a word for itself here in Bologna this weekend, and I would not be surprised after it winning the European Championship already if it is time again for Vanquish Soul to possibly take another title here this weekend at YCS Bologna. But we will see that throughout the rest of the tournament. We will be back with round 7 very shortly, so we'll go on a short break now, but see you soon.